Hello, my name is Joe Frescott, and this presentation will consist of low-income housing in the Bay Area and how this can be mitigated through the use of shipping container complexes for housing. Low-income housing in the Bay Area is considered to be a household of four earning $117,000 or less. Roughly half of this income is spent on housing alone. So my proposition is to produce cities of stackable shipping container housing for low-income communities. As you can see from the graph below, it shows the amount of people in poverty in various counties. Why shipping containers, you may ask? Shipping containers are a viable option for low-income housing due to the simplicity of prefabricating and building these structures, as well as the cheap cost to construct. The internals of the shipping containers can be fabricated completely off-site, mitigating time spent in the field. The shell itself offers a sturdy structural base, minimizing the amount of added reinforcement, and containers themselves may be found in abundance for affordable cost. Through a series of government subsidies, we could see these structures being built all across the Bay Area, giving us the ability to house many different people at a very low cost while producing aesthetically pleasing complexes so it doesn't look like low-income housing. What is the issue at hand? A family of four making $117,000 per year is considered low income. Over a third of its income goes to housing. There's not enough low-income housing for the demand. So what this means is a lot of these families aren't able to afford to pay for necessities that their kids need, so they end up further behind in school than the other students would be. This chart is examining low-income California renters with severe cost burden. As you can see, over 94% of residents in the Bay Area are considered very low income or extremely low income, and over 2/3 are elderly, disabled, or families with children. So in order to mitigate this, we need to produce more low-income housing. Now you may be asking yourself, why shipping containers? Well, shipping containers are extremely affordable to build. By prefabricating the interiors of these shipping containers, it really condenses the schedule, meaning that we have more time to build on site. Low cost of the containers, they're very abundant in nature, they're used in a lot of different areas, and it's a very sustainable design. The purpose of producing shipping container complexes is the ability to fit a lot of people in a small area. They're already structurally sound, easy to transport, and they're simple to install. As you see from this picture, they're very nice looking, they don't look trashy, and it's very clean and orderly, and you can still house a lot of people in a small area. Because shipping containers are linear in nature, this gives us the ability to design many different layouts and many different sectors for how these containers are stacked in order to make it aesthetically pleasing. So on every corner, you don't have the same low-income housing complex that looks just like the next one. You can change this design and have it look wholesome and different. What is the purpose of creating these shipping container complexes? Well, the whole purpose is to help low-income families out of poverty traps. That is the current housing market in the Bay Area. It allows families to invest in schooling and leisure activities for the children. And this, in turn, equals better quality of life for these people. This chart shows federal rental assistance in California and how it has not kept pace with the need. Low-income renters in need grew by 28%, while assistance rose only by 6%. On the left, you see families receiving rental assistance from 2007 to 2013, and on the right, we see low-income renters with severe cost burdens with that 28% jump. There are many benefits to shipping containers, obviously, but in terms of, for people, it keeps less people in poverty, less people on the streets, which correlates to cleaner living conditions for everyone involved, and they don't take up much space. So on small corners, because property is so expensive, you can build these massive shipping container complexes cheaply. So my solution for creating more low-income housing through the use of these complexes, obviously there needs to be money coming in, so I propose a series of government subsidized programs to build these complexes. They can build a variety of different layouts in multiple areas across the Bay Area and move low-income families into these complexes and out of the streets. This chart simply shows where the money would be coming from. Federal funds would be funneled directly into affordable housing program, as well as through state funds and local funds. Through local funds, we can push more into rental assistance programs, and state funds could be a hybrid of both and do a little of each. But through these systems, we can really mitigate the amount of people in poverty. You may be asking yourself, well, what is the taxpayer benefit? Because that's where these government subsidized programs come from. Well, they're cheap to build because of the short schedule and cheap material of the shipping containers themselves. These systems would pay for themselves in a very short period of time just because they were cheap to build, and it allows more money to be invested into other sectors of the industry because the people residing in there now have more money, so can spend money in other areas as opposed to housing. Another design concept that could be used are mixed-use complexes, which are very big in sustainability right now, meaning that you put retail on the ground floor and housing above. So this is a huge community benefit because anyone can go into these stores. You could put restaurants, you could put stores, grocery stores, and this gives the ability to make your money back faster on your investment. This is an example of a mixed-use complex with housing on the top and a market on the bottom. The market on the bottom is clearly just a plain old market that I'm sure has grocery items, but on top it allows for people to live above, making the city more walkable, more sustainable, and these complexes you'll be able to make your money back twice as fast. If we were not to invest in these systems, the future issues could potentially be that we will see poverty traps for generations to come, and these people who live in poverty currently will not be able to get above that threshold because it's only growing further and further, and more people will not be able to afford the absurd housing prices in the Bay Area. This chart shows the median Bay Area home sale prices in various different counties across the Bay Area. As you can see, it's got a great upward trend. Obviously, that this trend is going to continue to go up, allowing less and less people to be able to afford to live there, meaning more and more low-income housing. In conclusion, we see unlimited building potential through the use of shipping containers. The ability to invest in these programs to build for low-income residents of the Bay Area would be highly sought after, and through the use of shipping containers, we can do that in a very cheap, affordable manner while making all of these complexes look different from each other.